Dear Journal, I'm starting a new podcast today, and I'm pretty nervous about it.
Dan, we're doing a podcast here. What are you doing?
Chad's talking to me again, but I feel like he's becoming more distant.
Wait, why are you narrating what I'm doing? What are you doing?
Journal, sometimes I think that
you don't even have a journal
doesn't pay
in front
attention to me.
Where are you getting a journal from?
He's been abandoned. I think it's struck him down to his inner core.
I don't think you understand what we're doing in our podcast. We got to start the show, man.
We've always been two loners, I guess, but there's something more weird about Chad. Like he sort of let it get to him.
What?
He blinks weird and has a little fidget.
Dan.
Well,
hey.
Okay, maybe next time, Journal. I gotta get back to my podcast. Hey, Toonsters! Welcome to another episode of Raised by Tunes. My name is Dan Yancey Mason.
And I'm Chad Honker Cook.
And Kaluka Coo, because we're calling all of you nematodes to join us. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Okay.
But we're going to do Doug. Fuck off. Say what? Enter the bad boy. Say what? Everybody He's play, but he is trying super hard. Everybody knows. Whatever. Doug. Okay.
All right.
That's right, Toonsters. We're gonna review Doug today. The plain boy has got the heart of gold.
The plain, well, he's got dots for eyes, and it's kind of scary.
This only information you can only get here on Raised by Tunes. Doug started with one of the original Nicktoons, Rugrats and Ren and Stimpy, August 11th, 1991, famous date. Lasted until January 2nd, 1994, Nickelodeon style. Then we moved over to Disney.
And bleh.
Fuck that, Doug. But it was created by Jim Jenkins.
Jim Jenkins.
Jenkins. What'd I say?
Jenkins.
Oh.
With an E. But
Jenkins.
it's an I. Jenkins.
For Jumbo Pictures, which was an independent company that they were actually...
They made Jumbo Shrimp, right? And,
that's sort of like a Bubba Gum company. There were 7 seasons, 117 episodes. That's including the Disney. I'm doing it. But Doug is about a young middle school preteen.
11 and a half years old.
He has a very hyperactive imagination, and, he turns the dull days into great adventures. Yeah,
and sometimes it starts out with those imaginations, though it kind of gets out of hand, and they turn into anxieties.
There was definitely some neuroses to Doug.
Like a Woody Allen type of...
he was Woody Allen if he was a teenager.
That didn't have a stutter problem either. Right?
Probably, yeah. Doug was based a lot on moral foundation and accountability. Jim Jenkins was... he focused a lot on dismissing the moral ambiguity of becoming adult, so that the people in Doug's universe, Bluffington, could rely more on truth and honesty is the word I'm trying to think of. That's why I'm stalling.
Well, I mean, that was a very heavy sentence, but pretty much, the town of Bluffington is just, everyone's very honest with each other. Everyone's upfront. I mean, obviously, they might not say all the whole truth because they're afraid or concerned with each other, because caring counts.
Caring counts here in Bluffington.
And sometimes you gotta hold back a little. But all in all, they are pretty, they do less lying than I do.
Yes, which isn't much of an accomplishment.
No, because I lie a lot.
Doug, I personally enjoy Doug. Doug is one of my personal favorites.
Oh, here we go again.
Doug is one of my personal favorites, honestly, and it's because it was up against, when it was first creating Nicktoons, it was up against squeaky wheels, basically.
Yeah.
Ones that got more attention because they were more far out, they were more wacky, so they got the attention. But Doug wasn't a fan favorite at first. I thought it was great. It wasn't about high stakes or huge laughs.
Yeah, no funny jokes here.
It was more about just a good homage to the humdrum ups and downs of life.
Yeah, I mean I never got to be a new kid like Doug, obviously, like moving to a whole new town. But I mean that it gave him a blank slate, so that audience like me and you could probably connect with him on some levels, because he's dealing with new surroundings, new school. Like when me and you, like, you leave one school to go to another school, so that's sort of your new kid experience if you're still in the same town. But I mean, it's there were different aspects that you could connect with other than just his stale demeanor. And
It was, as much as we feel Doug is average and stale, he is just sort of, he's desiring to be different at a weird time in his life, his preteen years, and as much as he wants to be cool, through his like imagination, he'll be the daring one, he'll be the adventurous guy. He's always gonna come back to reality and be your average Joe, and that's all right. He's honest. He seeks more to be a good person in the long run, but he does have that aspiration to become something bigger than himself, and that makes it exciting too.
Like obviously, I'm more of a, like, I watched Doug, but I was drawn to more of the more exciting shows a little bit more. Although there was something about the show that kept me coming back, where it was like, the characters alone were very interesting, like Mr. Dink, the next door neighbor, Skeeter, his best friend. They all gave life to Doug himself, sort of. Even his dog, Pork Chop,
the anthropomorphic dog that lives in an igloo in the yard. He
walks on his hind legs all the time, and he is able to do human-like things. What was another? Soupy. A previous show we did where the dog was similar to that, where he was very human-esque. I'm blanking on the episode which one we did, but but he's the only dog in the show. I've never seen any other dog.
They showed other dogs. They didn't talk. And also Stinky was an anthropomorphic cat.
Yes.
That Roger Klotz, the bully of the school, owned.
Side note, though, the town Bluffington was based on Richmond, Virginia. Was that right?
Richmond, Virginia, home of Jim Jenkins.
Yes.
I think it's Jenkins.
I specifically remember watching the intro, and on the side it said, created by Jim Jenkins with an I.
Oh, then I know nothing.
That's all right.
But... oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt something?
Oh, no. I was done.
Oh, okay. Some cool things to know about the show was the use of sound over image.
Yeah.
Now, Doug was a very grounded show. Like you said, it was based on actual stories from Jim. And as far-fetched as some of them may be, they always came back to truth.
Yeah. And
it was a very grounded show, like I said.
They always ended with a moral, some kind of lesson to learn. And that you don't get a lot nowadays. I mean, maybe just throwing knives in the dark here.
No, it was certainly one of the first to do that.
Yeah.
It was definitely one of the first shows to have truth, very real storylines. It was a cartoon version of the Wonder Years, basically. Yeah. Except it wasn't happening during the Vietnam War. Or maybe.
Possibly. Who knows? It's like you can't compare it to like Batman, because I don't think there was any moral in Batman really, except
try not to kill the Joker this time.
Yeah, or, don't.
It was one of the originals to do this, and it paved the way for shows like Arthur, the children's program.
Yeah.
Hey Arnold. other
Richard
shows
Scary, World of Richard Scary,
where you sort of have the relatable main character, and through his outlet,
Oh no, sorry.
What the hell's wrong with us?
I don't know.
Why are we being so polite?
Oh no, sorry.
See, you know what, Toonsters?
Doug,
we watched fucking Doug. We watched Doug, and now we are internalizing everything. We're two in our heads about interrupting and fuck us.
He made me found my introverted self again. So I'm thinking. But now I'm just blurting out things because I'm not thinking. So go on. What were you saying?
Doug first appeared, Doug and Porkchop, in ID spots for the U.S. Cartoon Express in the late 80s, early 90s before he got a show. Before that, he was a one-panel cartoon comic of the episode where he wants to get the Sky Jacksons or something, the big shoes.
Pretty much like an equivalent to Jordans.
Yeah.
That you would want to have for whatever
He
sport.
had like a little book of that. And if I remember, Vanessa Coffey, we mentioned her with Ren and Stimpy. How John K. was having problems with her.
Yeah.
She was actually insanely helpful in getting Doug off the ground.
Really?
Yeah, she was shown the book from Jim.
Okay.
And left during the middle of his explanation of Doug, and immediately came back with the approval to go to pilot.
Wow.
So she really fought for it. And she also goes in to segue into this. She produced Billy West to the project.
Yeah. Wasn't Jim against it at first?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jim didn't think that Billy West fit the role of how he heard Doug in his head. However, Billy West, as we've known for years now, he is one of the most talented voices in the industry. And at the time, he was doing the voice of Stimpy. And Doug, not only did he find that voice that was so perfect and fit the mold excellently, but Billy West actually succumbed to the charm of Doug.
Yeah.
And it is one of his favorite characters.
Yeah, I mean, he does the bully as well in the show, Roger Klotz, and I guess the kind of rivalry between the two, he actually picked the side that he himself was more connected to, which ended up being Doug, and so and you can kind of hear the Doug's voice in Fry from Futurama a bit.
Yep.
And like many of his other characters too, like Ren, sort of a Ren type of voice as well.
I feel like
Stimpy.
I feel like Doug is very true to Billy West, and Doug is very true to a lot of us.
Yeah.
He hits to an internal core with us of how we want to aspire to do great things, but we're all going to die bland and alone.
Yeah.
Today's episode was brought to you by the Honker Burger. The best burgers in Bluffington since 1991.
Well, I mean, speaking of similar, traits with Doug, I mean, I don't think I would ever really keep a diary or write a journal because I think those thoughts on paper would get me probably convicted and arrested. Like a Minority Report type of before I actually do.
Most normal, sane human beings could keep a log of their journal entries, and
but I mean, like it's safer in my head than it is on paper.
No, it just festers in there. When I was in second grade, I kept a journal because of Doug, and I remember still it was those little blue booklets
with a spiral on the side, or
just the
yeah. No, I got you. Yeah.
And I remember the first entry being a picture of Doug, a poorly done picture of Doug, and saying, "This is my first, dear journal, this is my first journal entry. I like Doug," but it said, "I like dog," because I'm an idiot.
Well, like in some of my classes, I remember middle school, they gave us composition notebooks, like the zebra colored ones, and they made us keep journal entries of I think like our homework and all that crap and stuff and daily whatever we do, and I made it up because I didn't want them to know what I really did during the day.
You could see at the end of the book, because this was for a class too. You just reminded me. Towards the end of the book of the journal, you could tell that I didn't fill it in for a few weeks because they just became like a picture of like a squiggle, like I like Wednesday. Doug was first seen by the general public in a grapefruit commercial.
Really?
Yes, Jim was hired on to do a grapefruit commercial, and then from there he was hired to do that U.S. cartoons thing, where him and Porkchop are lifting the TVs on top of each other, and they form the United States.
Well, I don't like grapefruit, so.
So that just kept you actively away?
Yeah, I just I wasn't introduced to Doug until Nickelodeon because I don't like grapefruit.
Well, one thing I did want to bring up in this episode is, like Hey Arnold and those that were the predecessors after Doug, the imagination is a huge aspect of Doug's life. And through the imagination, he can sort of sort through things in his head, get a clear image of what to do, and try to find the right in whatever situation it is.
I mean, most of them ended up with him going, ah, just screaming into the sky. And, I mean, I think that they, like, sort of like Rugrats, where theirs was kind of out there and not politically correct or whatever, you know.
Correct?
I don't know. I just was looking for a word there.
We can talk about politically correct in a second.
But, I mean, how they were just out there with their imagination, and it was based on like a word, but it wasn't really reality based there.
They didn't understand what the concepts of what they were talking about were.
And so Doug, his is based on it. He knows what it is, but it still reaches that childlike fantasy. And so I just thought that Nickelodeon kept that sort of theme with imagination, where it's sort of reality based, but it's always goes to the point where an extreme, like a huge extreme.
You remember how I always say that I'm very impressionable from cartoons?
Yeah.
Doug was as well. And I'll tell you why. Maybe not cartoons, but the fact that his imagination created alter egos such as Smash Adams, Race Canyon,
and Quail Man,
and Jack Bandit.
Oh my God!
Yeah, he was influenced by these things and sort of threw himself. Here's my question to you, Chad.
Okay. Yes.
He obviously had an active imagination. He traveled to distant planets. He became superheroes, spies, archaeologists.
Yes.
Now, how come when he was a superhero, he was still just fucking Doug with a belt on his head?
Maybe.
And he picked a quail. Doug, you are so fucking basic.
No,
basic, Doug.
He was probably. He's like, I still want some recognition as a superhero. I want people to know it's me. Because obviously people can tell it's him because he's wearing green.
They can't in the thing.
I mean,
Quail Man.
Unless like everybody in the town was hit over the head with a wrench, and then they were just bleeding profusely, where they couldn't make eye contact with him. Maybe that's.
Do you forget what you're talking about sometimes?
Sometimes.
Do you forget what we're doing here?
I just I go on talking rants and maybe. We just keep going.
I'm going to go on. Speaking of characters, Bluffington had a vast array of characters from all walks of life and all colors.
Yes.
Jim, I call him Jim. It's a first name thing. You wouldn't get it. Anyway, Jim and I were talking the other day. And we were thinking that there were a multitude of colors so that there was an irrelevance to race.
I could see that.
Yeah. And a lot of people will say Skeeter is portrayed as black.
I get.
That's
the thing is, like,
I didn't just make that up.
What helped? No, I know that's a thing. But what helped what helped that believability that race didn't matter in the show was no one had like really an accent to give you a sense of what they were. Or,
one person did that I knew of.
Who?
Patty.
Oh well, yeah, she had a southern
sort of drawl.
accent, but anybody could be southern. It doesn't have to be like. I mean, if anybody lived in the South,
and you too can be southern.
What was that?
That was my vaudeville.
That was I was like,
that was my vaudeville voice. I don't know why that came out.
It's big down south. This is how we talk down south. Bakerfield, California. This is how we talk.
So, we had... I want to get into the characters specifically now.
Okay.
There was an array of fun characters.
Yes,
we got Skeeter, your blue best friend with a lightning bolt and...
And he... Does he honk his nose or does he just...
ugh.
No, you did it. You did it better the first time.
Oh,
no, you lost it. I don't know. All right,
we're not spending 10 minutes on this. Anyway,
so Skeeter,
the
best friend,
voiced by Fred Newman, who did the theme.
He did most of the characters.
He did all the little Seinfeld-esque transition musics, like.
Was that? Yeah, that was Doug that you accomplished there. With
yeah.
Your mouth. And you know, that was a key element of the show. The actual transitional music that came out of Fred's mouth.
Yep.
I don't know why they didn't get Bobby McFerrin, but Fred Newman did just as well.
Fred Newman was fine. Okay, leave him alone.
I'm just saying, you know,
Mosquito
why not get
Valentine, baby. That was his real name.
So, would you?
And Patty Mayonnaise, his
Patty
love
Mayonnaise.
interest, which he had a huge crush on for his entire life, and she really didn't show him much back. I
mean, when in the first episode when he sees her, he falls in love head over heels for her, which I don't. I mean, that seemed a little exaggerated. I mean, he had...
because you don't understand what love is.
Well, no, but, I mean, obviously
so I'm not going to explain it to you
obviously,
right now.
You need some interaction first before
love
you can
at first
decide...
sight.
Bull crap.
Chad, I'm not going to teach you love on this show. Anyway...
It's bull crap.
Patty Mayonnaise was a culmination of two girls that Jim had a crush on when he was in middle school.
Yes.
That's it, Toonsters. We'll see you next week. Fuck. You also had Pork Chop, the dog. You had Roger Klotz, the bully.
Do we know what his middle name was, or was it just M?
Roger Munson Klotz. I don't know. That's not true.
Well, his was sort of
Muriel.
I mean, he later in the series when they revealed he lived with his mom in a trailer park, it was kind of sad. Like you kind of understood why he was terrible to other people because he didn't have a good life.
He's definitely a victim of abuse.
But that doesn't mean it's right to bully. Okay, folks?
Yeah. Remember that. Learn something from Doug. Doug, I'm trying to think of if I want to go. I want to go into music.
All right, let's go
into music.
Let's go into music. Doug's favorite band was the Beats, right? The
Beats.
And obviously that's a play on the Beatles.
I don't see that, but sure.
I mean, well, Beat.
They were their own separate thing. Chap Lipman.
Well, yeah, but
Monroe Yodel.
The look of Chap Lipman, it was based off Ringo Starr.
I don't see it.
You don't. Maybe you should open your fucking eyes.
He is. He is a dead Ringo Starr. The Monroe Yodeler was a dead impression of John Lennon. Mm-hmm. And then the other guys looked like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, Led Zeppelin.
But the Beats were famous for Killer Tofu.
Killer Tofu.
E-I-E-O. Killer Tofu. E-I-E. Yeah. So I know all the words.
He does.
Eat my sugar cereal, 'cause it makes my teeth bacterial.
Okay. All right,
anyway,
they got it.
Killer Tofu. I need more allowance, yodelay. Which I guess Skeeter and Doug were the inspiration to that song.
Oh yeah, didn't they like meet them in one episode, like when they were touring into the town.
Yeah, they couldn't get there,
and they met him at a restaurant.
Yeah, they
played with him, or they sang with him, right?
Yeah. Doug and Skeeter couldn't get to the concert at the very last second, so they were sitting eating at a truck stop, and the Beats came in, and they ended up meeting them. It was dream come true, and it's probably all just a delusion in Doug's head.
Yeah,
because
we never know.
It's sad, really, if you think about it.
But I mean, that group pretty much inspired Skeeter and Doug to form their own kind of band for like at least an episode.
We got an episode of it. Doug's Garage Band.
Yes. And Skeeter, he's the drummer. He's drumming on a trash can. And Doug, he's got his banjo. Although before they actually decide to make a band, he's just doing air banjo. And I just didn't understand. So Skeeter actually had sticks to drum things, but Doug didn't think he needed a sound to come from.
For those of you that have no clue what we're talking about, we're talking about Banging on a Trash Can, the song from Doug's Garage Band, where it's banging on a trash can, strumming on a street light, strumming on my banjo. Break it down. One little voice is calling me.
Okay.
Oh, I'm trying not to go.
Yeah, he's gonna sing the whole song if I don't stop him, folks.
But the Beats had the World Reunion tour that they did. I'm trying to. Also, Doug had what were those other songs? They had
shoot.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you guys don't really care by now.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. We keep doing this every week thinking people care at all. They don't. You see the little picture of a cartoon, you're like, I recognize that, and you like it. You don't even listen to this shit.
You won't even send an email. It's just saying hi. I just want a hi.
Fuck you. Anyway, let's talk about favorite episode, shall we?
Okay. Well, really, my favorite episode is the what was the name of the hamburger?
The Hamburger Boy.
Hamburger Boy, yes, and is pretty much it's the beginning of summer, and Doug's idea of spending his first day of summer is just sitting on his lawn, drinking whatever out of his cup. Probably not even alcohol because he's lame.
And he's 11. You fucking psychopath.
What?
You're a sociopath.
Some parents are okay with that, and they actually monitor their children.
You wouldn't know because you were always alone.
That's true.
So go on. What's your favorite?
He's about to go out with friends, and his neighbor, Mr. Dink, who
stands for
double
income, no kids. That's why he always had all the cool gadgets.
That's why you don't want to have kids, folks, because you get double income, no kids. And you get nice TVs, you get cool gadgets.
And a grill with your face on it.
So you get your prophylactics. And
weren't you telling about an episode?
Yes. Mr. Dink, he reveals that he is the hamburger boy who runs around. He runs around dressed in this big hamburger suit, and it's for the actual Honker's hamburger place.
Honker Burger.
Honker Burger, yes.
Honker Burger. The best burgers in Bluffington since 1991.
There you go. And so he wants Doug to take the reins and do it for this upcoming summer that he's run around and be the hamburger boy. And at first he was reluctant, but then he actually ended up doing it and starts dancing around. He even ends up going to not a camp, but it's a
picnic. A
picnic at the local lake. But he promised that he'd have a picnic with Patty and Skeeter. And so there's a thing where he keeps running back and forth in between dressing in the costume.
Your classic water buffalo, Pebble, Flintstone birthday scenario. Where Fred had to be in two places at once.
That's crazy. But let me just say.
Our groove.
Yes. Well, and so comedy ensues where he loses his pants and the little kid Skeeter's brother,
Dale.
Dale.
Dale Mosquito.
He knows
Dale
that
Valentine.
Doug is the hamburger boy, and he keeps going, Dougie, burger boy, and like that.
Eat 'em up.
And so he steals his pants, his shorts, and he's running after him without pants on. Patty shows up. He's got to hide behind a bush and hide. And then all of a sudden, people in the lake start flipping over. Everybody's drowning because nobody knows how to swim in Bluffington.
Mm-hmm.
So he is in his burger costume, and obviously burgers are flotation devices. So he jumps in that water. He swims over. Everybody grabs a hold. He saves the day. And then he runs off into the wilderness as the Shane hero type hamburger boy, and he goes down in history as savior of the town. And
Yeah, the savior of the town, huh?
Yeah.
The hamburger boy running around
boy.
with a pair of cargos, huh?
Yep.
All right. I want to give a few honorable mentions before I do mine.
Oh, uh-oh.
I would like to do Doug's Garage Band, where they get the band together.
Okay.
I would like to do Doug's Door to Door, where they are selling Bluff Scout booster bars, and they taste like cement. So they can't sell them. Roger takes fake German imported chocolate and tells people it's that, so and then sells them the booster bars. Doug calls him out on his lie, tries it himself though, because fuck, Doug's bland as shit anyway.
That's true.
But he tries it with Mr. Swirly.
And he goes, and
he says, "I'm sorry. I can't do this." His moral compass comes into play. Mr. Swirly, tasting real thing, says, "Who makes this junk? I make this junk." They rush off to Swirly Factory.
Isn't he in some kind of weird, like, swirly
Swirly-mobile.
The swirly-mobile.
With the swirly thing spinning on top. They go in and they see a goddamn cement truck dumping cement into the mix. Which, by the way, they should not be the first ones to notice this.
Yeah.
Because it was not like cement, like a vat of cement or something. It was like a truck that was backed up into it. So nobody's fucking monitoring this shit. And it's been years. They've been selling these cement-tasting booster bars for years.
Maybe it's a fully automated, chocolate factory.
It's not. They saw people on the catwalk.
Oh, well, those people should be sued because probably...
Yeah, we're not even talking about that issue.
Yeah.
They've been eating cement anyway. Another one I'd like to do for honorable mention is when Skeeter moves. When they thought Skeeter was moving, and they have that whole episode of Doug being alone and no longer being able to live those memories with Skeeter, and they find out he was just moving to the basement to get a bigger room.
Zing!
Hi-jinx. Here's my favorite.
Yes.
Beautiful, and the only primetime episode of Doug.
Really?
The Christmas special where Pork Chop is about to be put down.
That's terrible.
Oh, it is awful, Toonsters. Let me paint the scenario for you. It's Christmas. Everyone's ice skating.
I like Christmas.
No, you don't.
Go on.
Everyone's ice skating.
I like the ice skating
And
too.
Pork Chop notices that BB's getting a little too close to some thin, cracked ice. Pork Chop, being the good dog that he is, grabs her by the leg to pull her back. Phoebe, the fucking asshole cunt that she is. Can I say that? Is that too much?
Nah, you already did.
She's a bitch. Fuck Phoebe or BB.
BB.
Fuck her. She's a little shit. She was gonna try to fucking kill Pork Chop after everything they've been to.
As Hall and Oates would like to say, she's a rich bitch.
She's a bitch. So anyway, the fucking rich bluff, the BB Bluffs,
Yeah,
the
BB
fucking
Bluffs.
rich Bluffs sue the Funnies. And they're like, they're gonna put him down until finally BB shows the courtroom the ice, and Pork Chop acts the same. And he's flipping out, and they're saying he's gonna do it again, he's gonna attack her again. Turns out, he grabs her again, pulls her away, and the ice shatters. And everyone sees that Pork Chop is trying to protect her, and BB almost fucking killed him. Fuck yourself, BB.
I mean, a lot of dogs, get put down, and this was like a show. This was like an episode that spoke about it.
Shut up. I'm a dog. You're a dog. Everybody do the dog. But you're gonna do the dog all day long.
Let the dogs
go outside. Out.
What?
I'm not dealing with you anymore. You're done. This was an Emmy-nominated show.
Emmy-nominated, but did it win?
Didn't win. It only won a
Aw,
bunch of
shucks.
Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards.
Oh, someone got slimed. No? Alright.
Let's talk about some of our favorite ancillary characters.
Okay.
There was a lot of characters that fell into the background.
That's
Maybe
true.
they just got a moment to shine here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I would say some of mine to top the list
Yeah.
were the Sleech brothers, Alan Moo,
Mm-hmm.
where they were Igor-looking
Yeah.
little psychopaths.
Well, they were geniuses.
Yeah, but they're... Come on.
Everyone who's a genius is a little crazy, you know?
That's not true.
Oh.
Look at me.
Ha!
I also like Fentruck, who is obsessed with the
Yeah.
yellow-haired girl who sits in front of him, which actually means his sister.
Ooh, that's
No, yeah.
that's kind of creepy.
But I mean, he wanted him... Doug mistook it. Doug mistook it for Patty.
Oh, I see.
So he didn't actually like his sister. He just wanted him to write a letter for
Okay.
her. Anyway. And I forgot his name, that's why I didn't say it at first, but he's the one that is pink, has like a green shirt.
Oh. What is his name? I'm blanking on it.
Right? But anyway, he's the one that gets in a fight with Doug. Like Doug accidentally pokes his nose and hurts him.
Yeah.
And then they're about to do a fight, but then they plan to do the sound effects thing where the TV goes out instead. Fuck, I don't remember his name at all.
Oh.
But
I'm sure when they watch it and they see the character, they're like, "Oh, that's who he meant. That's who."
That's what you'll do.
You're gonna watch Doug after this, right, guys?
What about you? What kind of characters do you got?
Well, I would say I really liked Miss Wingo. She was a very sweet teacher of Doug and the rest of the kids of Bluffington School.
Mm-hmm.
And Lamar Bone, the vice principal, was it?
Vice Principal Lamar Bone, based off of Don Knotts.
Yeah, and maybe that's why it got me, because I really like Don Knotts, and he's just got goofy demeanor, like, "I watched the Lord, and
no, Rod. That's right, sir. All higgledy-piggledy.
Yeah, and I really liked Judy, Doug's sister.
The first hipster.
Yeah, the first hipster, but she
was more of a beatnik, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, she was very of her own spirit, and just, I don't know. I think she was hot too.
Yeah, she was definitely one of my first crushes.
Yeah.
Do you remember? What was that sound?
Oh, sorry. I was still thinking about it.
But you also got characters like Robert Bob White, the mayor.
Ooh.
Vote for me.
Oh, yeah, he was...
Bill Bluff, BB's fucking asshole father. Then they had Skunky Beaumont, which wasn't even shown until the Disney series. They only talked about him in every story. Joe Valentine, Skeeter's dad, who had a huge anger problem.
Oh, yeah.
1, 2, 10!
That was very...
Which I've tried counting to 10. It doesn't work if you're really mad.
No, you gotta skip a whole bunch after 2, because then it just means you're the mad.
Yeah, I guess so. It worked for him.
It worked for the guy in Home Alone when he's like, "Let me count to 10 to get your lousy, no good stinking carcass out my door."
Oh, that's true.
And then he went 1, 2, and skipped to 10. He skipped to 10. And then,
the Dinks.
The Dinks. I loved
them.
Obviously, they were polar opposites. Like, his wife was just this bland. I mean, not bland, but she was just not into whatever her husband was, and she was like, "I'm not having."
She was sarcastic.
No, yeah, she's very sarcastic.
She actually
there
won
you
the
go.
mayor.
You're a chicken, honey. And it was just very witty, dry humor from her.
Yeah, she's.
While her husband's like, "Hey, Doug, let's do things."
Who was that?
That was Dink, Mr. Dink. Now I sound like Bill Cosby.
Everything. Yeah, that was. He sort of looks like Bill Cosby too. That I think about
with
it.
The sweaters and the. Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Did you know when Doug was on Nickelodeon, he had 8 strands of hair, and when he was on Disney, they had to change it to 9 for trademark reasons.
Really?
You know what else Disney did?
What?
Ruined the fucking show.
Well, let me just say why his parents, okay? Doug's parents had full heads of hair. One blonde, one blue, and he only gets 8 hairs.
I feel like that's just the equivalent.
Does he have alopecia?
No, I feel like it's the equivalent to a buzz cut.
A buzz, like, why? So he's that bland that he gets a buzz cut.
Doug
he wears
so
a sweater vest.
Fucking basic. There is nothing. He is a blank slate, but he has no personality of his own. He just wants to fit in so desperately.
Like, give him some lipstick or something to make him stand out. You know, I don't know.
Do you remember the principal's name was Principal Butt Savage?
I slightly remember, but we never really get to see him though, right?
No, you're about to see him in the graduation episode where Doug graduates middle school. But as Doug's looking for him, he realizes that Principal Butt Savage actually went to the graduation to make a speech, so he doesn't see him. But he catches Roger and tells Roger to graduate.
Oh,
yeah. I'm trying to think what cereal would best accompany Doug before we, tell the world how to watch it and what we think of it.
Yeah.
Want to start?
Okay. I would say the cereal I would choose would be a Life cereal, the Life cereal, and only 'cause Doug represents life at its purest and most honest, just like the cereal. So, Life cereal would be the choice that I have while watching Doug.
I'm going to go with a generic. I'm going to go with Cheerios. The non-flavored, bland, original Cheerios. Because you can do stuff to them, like make them honey nut. You could make them frosted, but at the end of the day, they're still boring fucking Cheerios. You'll never be anything special.
I think I found out who I was whenever I had Cheerios. I just added mounds and mounds of sugar. And that just slowly decayed me from the inside out.
But it makes my teeth bacterial. Look at that. It all ties in.
Tied like a knot made...
Let's rate this thing before you...
Finish that thought?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to give Doug 4 out of 5...
Those?
His original name was Brian. That's a fun fact.
Oh,
I
awesome.
I didn't know where else I was going to throw it in this.
So wait, you got to still pick a
4 out of 5.
Like
Jumbo.
nematodes?
Nematodes.
There you
4 out
go.
of 5 nematodes. It holds up. It's true to itself. It's very honest. It gets the principle down. The characters are fun. It's brightly colored. It's imaginative. It's well done. And it still survives. It's not funny. Funny.
It's not funny. You don't want to watch it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't try, which is humble in itself. It doesn't need to be Ren and Stimpy eccentric. It doesn't need to be this far out sort of fart joke. Anything.
It's like HBO's Girls without the. No. In all seriousness, it is a great show. But should I give? Okay. I rate the show, a 4 out of 5 quails. And it's most of what Dan said about the show, I believe, and it really, if at all else, it's fun to just watch with the music, the beep bopping with the.
Now you sound like Bill Cosby.
Going to beep bop,
Rudy.
Would you like a roofie in your drink?
Oh,
sorry, I went there.
Fucking time.
I went there
every time. We haven't done one fucking episode where you can't just be a human.
But yeah. So I mean, it's a great show. It's not like a fast paced, action filled. It's just a casual watching. You want to sit down? You want to light up a
Honker Burger,
a Honker Burger, and just relax, have a beer, and some cereal.
It's just that's just the saddest picture you ever painted.
Sitting in your underwear,
just thinking about what could have been and why she left.
Yeah.
But
no, it's a show you should watch. Your kids should watch. It teaches you things that you need to learn about yourself and about others around you and about how life should be.
If we're not doing it justice, it's only because it's very difficult to describe.
Yes.
And even though we are professionals, Doug was, like we said, a very blank slate.
Yeah.
And the formula, the reason it lasted was because it was always different.
Yeah.
It was not just a typical, he walks into this happens, he solves it.
What's oh, he's in another weird situation.
Yeah, it was more true than that. And I think in all the zaniness and all the bright colors of other cartoons we might cover, this holds true to itself. 4 out of 5. You can watch it on Amazon Prime if you have it.
Or buy the DVDs off Amazon.
Do it, Toonsters!
Woo-hoo.
So I think that's going to wrap it up for us today.
Well, we should probably mention...
yes, Chad! Yes! Chad was busy this last weekend.
Yeah, I got to go to the Animation ToonCon over in the City of Industry, which is a weird name to name your city in California, but City of Industry. And it was at Frank & Son's Collectibles Warehouse or whatever, and they had a bunch of toys, comics, video games, all the like pop culture stuff you could think of was there. But the main thing that I was excited about was they had a bunch of voice actors there to sign or take pictures with or whatever you want. And I got to meet Jim Cummings, which is one of the top like voice actors, famous. Yeah, Winnie the Pooh, Monterey Jack, like most of your childhood favorites. He's been there and done it. And I also got to meet Townsend Coleman. He was Michelangelo in the 80s Ninja Turtles.
Who else was he? He was in another show that we did recently. And Tiffany was asking, who's Townsend Coleman?
I think it was crap.
Forget it.
Yeah, but yeah. Also Pat Fraley. He was Krang from the 80s cartoon. And Turtles. And also
with the fucking just giant half-naked wrestler attached to him.
That was the best robot suit ever, man. Also, the most, or well, one of the oldest names there.
You might even say it's a personal favorite of Chad's.
Yes, it was Skeletor.
Skeletor.
Alan Oppenheimer. He also did the voice of Falcor in Neverending Story. He was the rock biter as well. Yeah. And he was
such strong hands.
Yes, the narrator at the end, and he was this horse thing too. I forget the name of it in the movie.
Just a horse.
But yeah, he was there. I got a picture with him, a picture with Jim Cummings, an autograph from Townsend Coleman and Patrick.
On our...
Yeah, I'm gonna. You guys check tonight. You'll see them on our Facebook page, and also I got Josh Keaton. He was the voice of Spider-Man in the Spectacular Spider-Man series, but from then on, he played Spider-Man in the newer shows now, like Ultimate Spider-Man and stuff. Yeah, so he's still doing Spider-Man here and there, but he also does other voice work too. But yeah, and there was a couple more voice and animators too. Disney animators are well-known ones there too, and it was just really lots of fun.
As much as we live in the past, Chad.
Yeah.
We have something coming up.
Oh, yes.
This weekend we're going to be busy, too, for Free Comic Book Day.
Mm-hmm. We're going to be at the Federal Bar on Lancashire. It's going to be an event hosted by Blast Off Comics. They're having a bunch of illustrators and just
contests, raffles,
contests,
free comic books.
Free comic books. There's food. There's beverages. All ages are welcome, obviously. And
so best believe the Raised by Toons team is coming up in that bitch.
Yeah, we're not affiliated with it, but we're just going to have fun. We're going to be there. So if you guys are going to be there, you can look for us, and we'll obviously we're friendly.
We only bite a little.
Yeah, he's got sharp teeth.
I'm fucking sick.
Okay, we got it.
So,
But yeah,
come up. So let's chat a bit, cause
buy Dan. No, buy me a beer.
Buy Chad a beer. Buy me some onion rings. Court me. Show me a good time. Teach me that I can love myself.
Reference our episodes so we know you're listening.
We're going to wear bright neon yellow shirts with flashing lights that say Raised by Tunes. Please love us and accept us.
Yes, yes, yes.
So stop in. It's going to be, like we said, at the Federal Bar in Hollywood,
North
Hollywood, California.
And it'll be like sort of down the street, but right across from Blast Off Comics, the actual comic book store. So
I hope you enjoyed this bland episode of Doug.
Yeah, I mean, our voices that speak, that talk, and when words come out, we make sense.
Anyway, that's going to do it for us today, Toonsters. I'm Dan Yancey Mason.
I'm Chad Honker Cook.
And remember, if you weren't raised by tunes,
you weren't raised right.
Thanks for listening to the Raised by Tunes podcast. Be sure to visit their website at www.raisedbytunespodcast.com. If you haven't already, subscribe to their podcast on iTunes, and don't forget to follow them on Twitter and Facebook. Tune in next week to listen to two grown men who peaked in middle school try to relive their glory days on Raised by Tunes.